This is Perry Fields. I'm the author of this book, The Tick Slayer. You know me as the girl that recovered from Lyme disease and all these other horrific chronic illnesses. And today, once again, we have Elynn Light. And she's a former psychiatric nurse, nationally licensed massage therapist, and she specializes in emotional release and has been doing it for 30 years. And this is video 2 where we're going to go into some depth about how do you work and how does this actually work, because this is like a brand new concept, I would imagine, for about 98% of people who are watching this. And it has to do with emotional release. And if you think you've done it before, at least just listen and hear her out about how she does this, because this woman is incredibly gifted and skilled. She's been working on me and got rid of all my neck pain that I've had since I was 18 years old, and had gotten all kinds of treatment and didn't know how to get rid of it, and finally realized that it was some kind of emotional burden that was held and stored in that area. And in 2 sessions, boom, it was done. And now she's going to be talking today about how she actually works with clients and giving some examples, and probably using me as an example. So we'll see where this goes. And I don't mind, because y'all know everything anyway. So all right. So
Carrie's been very courageous in telling her stories and diving in and doing her work.
I'm a very private person too, which is very interesting.
Yes.
I'm not very social, and we'll probably get into that because of that example of some of the school bus.
The school bus.
So Elynn, I know that you're doing this weekly, and you may have somebody in mind that you'd like to use an example without saying names, so that you can describe how you actually work with people, and I think that will be very helpful. So if you could give us an example of someone that you've seen this week and how you actually work to resolve some of these emotional patterns and helping people release.
Yes, I'd love to share it with you. So what I do is different than talk therapy, because it's using the body. So the example I'm going to use this week was a woman that has eczema. So she could go to her therapist and say, gosh, I'm frustrated about this at work and at home, and I'm having to move, and gee, blah, 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 blah. So she could talk and talk and talk about it. But when we actually come into the body, which is how I work, we say, okay, since she's here, get on the table and let's dive into the body, follow those threads to unravel the mystery of why this eczema, and why isn't anything that she's doing, because she's got the perfect diet, takes all the supplements.
You've heard this before.
Doing the clean, enviable clean diet, and yet, woo, red rash. So whatever the symptom is, whether it's fatigue, eczema, pain in the neck, we come into listening to the body in just the same way. The first thing we go is, okay, let's listen. So rather than saying, body, you're a problem, shut up, go away, get better, stop bothering me, get off me, hurry up, get better, get out, we do the opposite. We actually come with compassion and curiosity to that symptomatic part that you have. So proceeding with eczema, we would first listen to, if the eczema could speak, is there anything it would like to say?
And what's weird, I have to interject here for a second, is that when you think that maybe you might not say anything at this point, but all of a sudden you might be seeing colors, or you might think of an emotion, or
an event,
or these things, or just images pop up in your head, and she encourages you to just say it so she can see where you're at with stuff. So
yes, when we drop into the body, we're actually changing brain waves. So I always say, pretend like you're going and watching a movie that's a cartoon, and just trust what comes, no matter how weird it is, or flashes of this or memories of that. If it's in your session, it's probably important. So you share that, and we keep pulling our thread to unravel the mystery. So next, I'm scanning the body, and so say, okay, next with the eczema case, it's like, all right, what's going on here? Well, the sensation actually was more in the throat and the heart. So we drop in, And the client sees like a tight band. And so we say, oh, tightness here. And at that point, I'm looking at her body, and it looks like something has choked her, and that now all this energy of red is in the head, and it can't get out because of this blockage. But I don't tell her. I keep asking her the questions to let her unravel her mystery. Because if you say it, it's the truth. If I say it, you question it. So I try to find the right questions to let you be a part of solving your mystery.
Right.
So we're coming in. So now we've got eczema, we've got tightness, and we ask the tightness, what's going on? She says there's frustration. So then we listen to the frustration, and it's between the throat and the heart. So how many of you have ever had like, oh, the head wants this and the heart wants this, and the tug of war
all the time.
Tug of war between the heart and the head.
Yeah, totally. It's hard to get everything in sync.
Yep, life.
Yeah,
lots
life
of curves,
happens.
lots of curves. So then we listen to the frustration, and telling story from an intellectual place rather than when you're body connected, telling the story is totally different. So now she says, I feel powerless. No matter how hard I work, I can't change things. So we take a breath and we go, feel that powerlessness. And is this the first time in your life where you've had this pattern? No, she says. It was in my second marriage and my first marriage. And I said, and how about your parents? Did you ever feel that as a child? Oh, yes. No matter how hard I worked to get their love, I just couldn't change them. Alcoholism, right?
Yeah.
And this is in so many of our lives.
Oh, yeah.
So whether the story is an alcoholic parent or a bullying big brother, God forbid incest, no matter how small or how large the trauma was, we shove it down, pack it in the body, and we push forward and function, right? So we're just like, okay, I'm going to stuff it down, rise above, get the smile on the face, work harder, and push more. And so then pretty soon our baggage, which is our body, is like baggage loaded with all this trauma, and we can no longer push. So with the client then, successfully, so unlike Perry's story of our first video, like she lays it all on the table and the Colonel says, oh, that's really nice. Have a nice day, honey. Doesn't really come to resolution or give her tools to work with that. At the end of our session, what we do is we call up anywhere where the body is holding and carrying the resonance, the emotion, the energy, or the belief of I am powerless. Sometimes we even carry stuff that's not even our own. We've been carrying it for our mothers.
Yeah.
So we call it up. Now, intellectually, if I said to Perry, call up powerlessness, and she's not in touch with it, it's not there. But in session, in that deeper brainwave state, it's like we call it up in the body. We notice where it is. We call that powerlessness up. And then we see, do you need to continue to carry this powerlessness? How does it serve you? Would it be safe to release it? What percentage? All of it? Some of it? And so this is how we're unwinding the pattern. And then these tools are tools that you can use on your own. You don't have to see me or see a professional every time life throws you something that creates apathy, grief, fear, anger. So I have a lot of tools that I work with. Honestly, I love the tapping that's so popular right now. The
EFT. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. My only fallback on that is that when you get the manual, you're like, or video instruction, you're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little hard to follow. It kind of reminds me of Tai Chi. Like, if you've ever learned how to do Tai Chi, and you're like trying to use videos, you're all like, but that went like that. And, you know what I mean? Like, the only way to do it is like to have your little Tai Chi master in front of you, and you're all, you know what I mean?
It's true. When we're learning a new skill, it's nice to have a coach so that we feel solid in our ability to use that tool.
So she does some of the tapping if she feels compelled that
Yes.
this is the time to use it.
Yes.
And that's why I like working with you, is because you get so much done in an hour. It's like unbelievable. And we were trying to figure out how we could even sum up a video. It's like in an hour, there's so much that happens.
Yes.
Like some of it's like I don't know if we should talk about it, but it's like so deep that you walk away and you're like, oh my God, like, you know, yeah, how do you even talk about that stuff?
How do you even talk about it, right?
Like, you didn't even know it was going to even come out of you, like, because you don't remember it, like trauma that happened so long ago, or in my case, we can talk about that. Like, I didn't even remember that I was so traumatized by a school bus. I lived out in the country, like way out in the country, and I had to ride a school bus for 30 minutes to get to the school every day. And I was 6 when I started kindergarten. I never went to preschool or anything like that, and I got bullied, and my sister and I were the only white kids on the bus, so there was all these things to pick on us about, and it was awful. And when you're 6, how do you really express to anyone like how awful it is?
Yes.
I mean, kids don't know how to even verbalize things, so things are happening to them and they're like traumatized. And I didn't even remember that the school bus was that big of a deal. I'm thinking about like this a-hole coach that I had at Clemson, and this a-hole coach, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking about all these a-holes that like happened the last 10 years. I'm like, this a-hole, that a-hole. But really, it's like, you know, the trauma was from the school bus and feeling trapped. And we were going to use this as an example, but Elynn cleared it off so much that she keeps going, what was the emotion that was, would you ask me what was the emotion?
I said, yeah, can
and
you
the
remember
pattern?
the emotion and the pattern?
And I said,
about?
and I'm like thinking about it, and I have nothing other than I felt trapped, and I started to dislike people, and I became like this little weird nerdy kid in school because of it, that hung out in the library all day. So, yeah.
So when Perry goes back when she goes back to now recall, how did she feel on that bus? Like, she knows that it was still there, but the charge is gone, and she can't even find the emotion. So we were going to use the example,
I know,
we couldn't find
but
it.
we can't. So
that's how clear it is.
the school bus.
The school bus.
Yeah,
But now we talk about, we say it with humor now, which is, thank God,
Yeah.
being bullied on the bus.
Yeah.
But it can be humorous
a lot
now.
of kids get bullied, but the other thing what was a big deal to me is when you had me go in there and take me out of the situation.
Oh,
So we
yes,
should talk about
that's
this.
right.
Because I came in as, what did I come in? I was like the mother or this saint type of person to come in to like get that little girl like in a better place. And now when I think about the school bus, I don't actually think about the school bus. I think about that little girl that I picked up and saved and flew off to a better place. And when I think about it, I think about the girl who's happy with all these little happy kids that are, you know, all in, you know, talented and gifted classes and doing fun stuff.
Yes.
I don't think about all the misery of being in school and going to classes that I hate and having teachers who didn't understand me and being weird and all that. I don't think about it. I just think about a little girl that's happy in some kind of weird little, you know,
Yes.
place.
And this is over just a few sessions in 6 months to actually erase the trauma. And we are organized around constructs. Like a building has scaffold, I guess it's not scaffolding, like the building has bones and it's organized and built on top of that. We are organized and built around these early traumas. So we organize to protect ourselves, and we have judgments. And so now, no wonder when you leave a session with me, because what happens is we're pulling off the bricks and the structures, and you are actually reorganizing in a new way where you're more in touch with your positive, healthy, powerful self. A lot happens in an hour. But because we go step by step, it's digestible at the time. We're following your thoughts, your feelings, your sensations, naming them up, and pulling that thread to unsolve the mysteries.
You're awesome. Okay.
And it's fun.
Well, it is. Sometimes you get a little, emotional.
Yes.
But that's okay because it's better out than in. And remember, I do say that a lot about with all the poisons and the toxins from die-off and whatever. I mean, it's all about filling yourself with the good stuff and getting rid of all the stuff that's just waste so you can be happy and live healthy and stuff. We do need to explain one thing, is how you do stuff over the phone, because I see Elynn personally, and of course not everybody can live by Elynn, but unfortunately, but you do work with people over the phone, and you need to explain that, because again, we're like talking about stuff that's like kind of difficult for some of you to digest, and this is some forward thinking that needs to happen with you that's watching.
So there are a lot of groups that started this a long time ago. I remember being in a little study group of Silva mind control, and that's, I think, from the 60s or 70s, where you imagine a person, like you're sitting in a group to do healing on that person, and so everybody says, okay, my Uncle Joe has a problem, and then everybody closes their eyes and tries to imagine Uncle Joe and what's going on with Uncle Joe. And it is actually shocking how many people can come up with, oh, I saw this mass on the liver, or I saw this dark spot by liver, and it's a capacity that most of us have that we don't use and don't
That's right.
What's that word? We don't get it up to speed. We don't fully develop.
Yeah.
Right? So I had a head injury when I was 19 years old. Some people say that increases your intuition. I don't know how intuitive I would be without that. But if you call me by phone, I have this ability to put your body on a screen like I'm watching a movie and go, okay, and I ask God to show me and to help me how to help you. So I'm showing the body, seeing where there's too much energy, where there's not enough energy, and I'm hearing in your voice the patterns and helping you explore. So it's not really that magical or weird. It's what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and we're unraveling that mystery together.
Right. And you were saying that sometimes it works even better because you're not distracted by the physical presence of somebody. So
yes. It's more clear on the phone because I don't have any person to prejudge by, nothing visual. It's just straight intuition, and
that's cool.
It's really cool.
And it makes sense too because sometimes you do get thrown off by seeing some. I know sometimes people have to take a double look at me. And it's like, oh, because it's like I messed up my hair. I don't like women, but, I did have an accident with a shaver.
And thank God she looks just as cute with her hair short.
I got lucky.
You did get lucky.
Thanks. So what? You're going to do something nice for my people.
Just because Perry is introducing me to her group of Lyme clients, I wanted to offer you a special today. So what you need to do is mention that you saw this video, saw us, yickety yuck, and so instead of $125 for your first session, I'm offering $97 for your first session. So for that, I take your history, and we work for over an hour together, and we rock your world.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's going to be awesome. You just have to call the number. I think it's somewhere down here on the screen.
Call that number.
We'll have Elyn's website, so you can go to it and get a little bit more information if you're all confused. But I highly suggest you just watching the 2 videos over again if you need to, and just see if it resonates with you, because some of you are going to watch this and go, dang, that's it. And then some of you are going to need to sleep on it because you're going to be like, oh, I'm really confused. What are they talking about?
Yeah. It's a lot to work with the energy body, the emotional body. It's a lot.
Well, I
take a step.
I sent my mom to her, so that's how serious I am. And, my mom, I'm Southern, and it's a little hard to get out of these boxes that we're all in down there.
Yeah.
And it was tough for her, but I was like, Mom, you just go in there and you just do what she tells you to do, and you just don't think so much about it. and she went in there like a champ, and she got a lot out of working with you for just 2 sessions. Came out just way happier, and dealing with things healthy in a healthy way, and it's awesome. So give Elynn a shot and see what she can do for you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can email me or post it on the Tick Slayer forum. And if I can't answer it, I'll get her on there to answer it. And that's www.thetickslayer.com/forum. Is it / or backward? I don't. /
Probably forward.
All right.
Okay. It's nice to meet you. Have a great day. Unravel those mysteries.
Yeah, Nancy Drew.